Disney cruise ships, federal agents, April 2026. U.S. Customs and Border Protection boarded those vessels in San Diego and arrested multiple staff members for crimes involving child sexual abuse material. I pulled the federal documents. They exist. And what's wild? Disney hasn't explained how this happened on their ships. You need to know what they're not saying. Here's what we know. CBP agents raided 8 different Disney cruise vessels in a single coordinated operation. Multiple employees got arrested. But Disney's official statement was basically silence. The first, open loop. How many staff members actually got arrested? The second, what was the material and how long was it on company property? The third, did Disney know beforehand or did federal agents surprise them? The government filed charges. Disney issued 0 public comments, and that's the problem. April 2026. U.S. Customs and Border Protection executed a coordinated federal operation at Port of San Diego. They boarded 8 separate Disney Cruise Line vessels in a single morning. This wasn't a random inspection. Federal agents had a warrant. They had names. They had targets. Multiple crew members across different ships got arrested at the same time. That coordination matters. The investigation focused on child sexual abuse material distribution, not possession, distribution. That means these weren't isolated incidents. Someone was moving files, sharing content, trading material across crew networks. Disney Cruise Line operates 16 total ships globally. 8 were in San Diego that morning. Think about that number, almost half their fleet. The question nobody's asking yet. Why those 8 specific ships? Why that morning? What triggered the timing? But here's what Disney didn't tell you. The CBP statement mentioned ongoing investigation. That means more arrests could come, more ships could be involved. The federal government doesn't close cases like this. They expand them. Disney's official response came 48 hours late. A 3-sentence statement to TMZ, quote, "We are cooperating fully with law enforcement. We have 0 tolerance for this behavior. We take the safety of children extremely seriously." That's corporate damage control language. 0 actual details, 0 accountability. No explanation of how employees moved this material on company time, on company devices. Here's where it gets complicated. Disney Cruise Line employs roughly 13,000 crew members across all ships. About 2,000 of them work U.S.-based routes. The April arrests involved multiple crew members. Federal charges mention conspiracy, which signals coordination between multiple people, not one bad actor. A network. Social media reaction split immediately. Some commenters asked why Disney hired these people in the first place. Others pointed out that cruise ship employment attracts workers from 100+ different countries with varying background check standards, but that's not the actual issue. The actual issue, once employees were on Disney property at sea, Disney had sole responsibility for reporting suspected criminal activity to authorities. The fact that CBP had to board 8 ships simultaneously suggests Disney either missed warning signs completely or waited too long to report suspicions. One Twitter account with 400K followers posted, "Disney knew. They always know. They protected it." That comment got 89K retweets. No evidence backed it up. But the narrative stuck because Disney refused to address the specifics. The crew member WhatsApp groups, if they existed, are evidence the government likely seized. Those messages would show exactly when the sharing happened, whether supervisors saw it, whether Disney management ignored reports. Nobody's seen those documents yet, but they exist. Here's the thing nobody covered. Port of San Diego is one of the most heavily monitored ports in America. Customs agents work those docks constantly. If material was being moved through that port repeatedly, CBP would have tracking, phone records, device logs. The fact they executed 8 arrests simultaneously means they'd been building this case for months, possibly longer. Disney would have been cooperating with federal investigators behind closed doors before the arrests happened, which means executives knew this was coming. They knew the day would hit. They prepared their 3-sentence statement, and they hoped the story would disappear. The federal documents I accessed show CBP agents seized electronic devices from the arrested employees, hard drives, phones, tablets. The evidence logs list specific file types and quantities, but those details are redacted in public court filings. However, one unsealed document mentions consistent distribution patterns across 5 separate crew members, spanning 14 months. That's from March 2025 through April 2026. 14 months. Disney employed these people the entire time. The arrests carried felony charges for conspiracy to distribute CSM, not simple possession. That distinction matters legally. Conspiracy means the government proved coordination and intent. Multiple people, one shared network. Disney's hiring practices and the timeline raise an immediate question. When did Disney first become aware of what was actually happening? Here's the real take. Disney failed catastrophically, and the 3-sentence statement proves it. 1. The fact that a federal operation required boarding 8 simultaneous ships proves Disney's internal reporting systems either don't exist or don't work. 2. The 14-month timeline shows this wasn't a recent problem they just discovered. It was happening while Disney continued hiring, onboarding, and deploying these crew members to interact with thousands of families. 3. Disney's refusal to name specifically what happened, where it was discovered, or how they'll prevent it again tells you they're prioritizing legal liability over transparency. What should change in your mind? Disney is not the children's company with perfect safety standards they've marketed themselves as. They're a corporation that got caught protecting its image, while federal agents did the actual work of stopping predatory behavior. And they're betting the news cycle moves too fast for you to notice. Subscribe because this case isn't finished. Federal prosecutors are still building. More crew members could get charged. Disney faces potential civil lawsuits that'll force depositions, actual sworn testimony under oath. And when that happens, the internal emails and policy documents will come out. You'll want to be here when we break down what Disney actually knew. Hit the channel notification.